fight, we might lose. But if we don't fight, we've already lost.
Hello and welcome to the Tuesday night Parra Leagues Talking Parra live show. I've got a voice this week, so that's fantastic. You get to listen to me waffle a little bit more instead of me sounding croaky and crapping on. Michael is a late in, as you can see. He's got a drink in hand, drink responsibly. Of course. I had to get a drink halfway through last week because Dad said I was struggling, needed something in the voice. But look, welcome to the Tuesday night show. As I said, let's first of all thank our sponsors, Riverside Brewing Co. Time for a chat. CMS Trophies, Tony Mustafa Mortgage Choice, Tate Sports Card, Non-Stop Landscapes, BMA Trucking, Spot on Hose and Fittings, Eurowork, X-Visory, and of course, Parra Leagues. Now, I'll introduce everything, and then we've obviously got something to address, as Rihanna already called up there. We are in trouble. We're not very popular today. But you know what? Who gives a shit? We love
it's like
it.
We've got a lawyer on the team, eh?
We love a bit of controversy. If anyone was stupid enough to believe a podcast has done nothing but speak shit for the last 3 years and take the absolute piss about a massive rumour on April Fool's Day, then you've got yourself to blame. But Rianne said she's going to turn up at my house, so I hope she doesn't do that because I reckon she could probably take me. All right, welcoming, first of all, Troy. Troy, you've been promoted. You've been moved across one today. I don't know how that happened. How you going?
Oh, pretty good, mate. Pretty good. Looking forward to the game on Saturday. A little bit disappointed about the last one. But, yeah, look, some new faces here, some old faces looking ready to rip in.
So happy for you, Troy. I'm sure it's going to be another glorious episode for you as usual. Jason?
Oh, God, you guys are the worst. You guys are the absolute worst. But, yeah, how's it going? How good was Champions? Not Champions. Chairman's Lounge at Manly. Anyone experienced that? It's pretty good.
Don't know. How was it? Did they have relish there?
There was no tomato relish, but they had this great lamb.
Is that sauce with salsa? Is that tomato relish? Yeah.
Tomato relish, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sauce with salsa.
There was none of that. There was none of that. But lamb with some hummus, some tom. Beautiful.
Cool. I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad you survived the day without me. Hayden Mysterio, our new criminal. How you going?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Yeah, Jace trying to make me hungry there, but I've had 2 dinners tonight, so normally I'd be pretty hungry from hearing about all that, but pretty full and looking forward to ripping in for another night.
Lovely. Michael gets the call up once again. Let's hope he doesn't cut out all the time. So, how are you travelling up there?
I'm good. Can
we ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you actually read one of those books behind you? Like, it makes you look very smart. Or do you like the smell of the room? Like, does it smell like warm mahogany or whatever it is?
So all of that, there's actually all of that again behind the camera. And out of all those books, I reckon 10 of them are mine. And 5 of them I've read.
Yeah,
I
the
think I
ones.
can see Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix behind your right shoulder. The red and yellow over there. Yeah, that way.
Nerd.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
Nerd.
pretty sure that's Harry
Correct.
Potter
Yes,
and the Order of
and
the Phoenix.
Just watch the movie;
What
it's
a-
easier.
a lot of me daughter's books and a lot of me wife's books. So, yeah.
Michael's magazines are hidden under the bed. If anyone wants to know, that's the 10 books that are his. And Joe has joined us tonight. He's off the back bends. We pulled him out the grandstand. That's how far I've gone to get him. Now, I'm going to introduce Joe. I'm going to tell you a story about Joe first. I first met Joe in America, mentioning who we can now name. Jared Hayne play in the NFL, which seems like a lifetime ago. It was 10 years ago. Actually, it was nearly 10 years ago. Now, I ran into Joe over there and his whole family and had dinner with them after the game and didn't see him again. Just kept running him. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, probably 2020, I think it was. 2020, we rock up to our season tickets and him and his father sitting behind us. So had some great moments with Joe. He loves to drop with the old F-bomb and the C-bomb. And he loves to let people know thoughts. Welcome to Talking Parra, Joe. Is this a highlight of your Parramatta supporting career?
This could be the highlight of my life, just to be brutally honest, to be with 5 of the all-time legends. So very happy to be here. Yes, everything since me and Adam met in San Francisco has led to this moment. So very happy to be here. Honoured.
Yeah, you should be. It's a
rough
massive
life.
privilege.
Yeah, highlight.
The what?
It's a rough life. It's
Yeah.
a highlight.
Well, he's been a Parramatta supporter his whole life, so it makes sense. This is the highlight.
We
Like,
flew.
the grand final moment up there.
When we
All right.
watched Jared Hayne play, he only played for a minute as well. One play actually on special teams. He didn't even get on the field. So, it was money not well spent.
He means NFL special teams, Hayden, not your kind of special teams, just for the record. All right, let's move on from that. And we've got to address something because, like I said, we've been called out for it. It's been a bit of a rough. Now, I don't have much to say, but I've played the wrong thing. It started late. I've absolutely butchered this moment. That's all we've got time for that, because if not, I've got to pay more royalties because the prick sitting in the middle, Mr. Michael Martin, already takes all the royalties from the from the live show with his song. So he loves it. He loves that 2-minute intro at the start. But look, obviously put that post up. It was an April Fool's joke, and we've been copping it left, right, and centre. My DMs have dead set been fuller than Dylan Brown's. Like, honestly, the amount of questions I've got, is this serious? Is this happen? And it's gone from left, right, and centre. Like, obviously some super coach people shared it as well. And super coach people have come around and people care more about Parramatta, super coach than they do Parramatta. And legit, they're just asking me left, right, and centre, like, is he playing? Is he playing now? I think he was actually pretty close, if we want to be 100% honest. He's starting to run. He's starting to get around, and he's burning. He is burning. Apparently, he did make a comment on Sunday that he'd like to play. I don't think he was cleared yet, so he hasn't played. But anyway, let's move on from that. We've addressed it. Now, we've got to do this first of all as well. And Matt's not here tonight, so I'm running everything once again because this is, what I've got to do. So I've got to start your comments, I've got to share your comments, and I've got to ask questions while everyone else just sits there and looks pretty. And then Troy just sits there. But what we've got tonight is we've obviously been doing that Leagues Club voucher giveaway. Now, I do want to highlight when we do a Leagues Club voucher giveaway, you do need to use the voucher at the Leagues Club. I thought that was pretty self-explanatory. Unfortunately, our winner last week lives in Queensland and can't use the voucher at the Leagues Club. So next week's jackpot is actually going to be $150 because he just said to donate it back. But this week we're giving away a jersey thanks to Parra League. So massive game this weekend. Ignore Mitchell Moses lurking in the background there. He's obviously not playing this week, as we now know. We're giving away a jersey. So all you have to do is share this. Once you've shared this live podcast to your Facebook, share it, comment, shared, and I'll star them. We'll draw a winner out at the end. Now, obviously, it can't jackpot because you can't jackpot a jersey. We could, but I'm not going to give away 2 jerseys. We don't have that kind of budget, that's for sure. So what I'll do is I'll just keep drawing at the end. So once you've shared it, obviously share it, rate shared, and then we'll get on from there. Let's move on, eh? No.
Just quickly, real quickly. I saw some very interesting commentary today about Moses. I found it very amusing that most of the people who kept saying it'd be good that he would rush back and play were also the people who commented that he only plays for New South Wales. I'm like, do you want him to rush back and play, or do you want him to wait and be properly fit, in which case that'd be around rep time? I don't know. Seemed a bit iffy to me.
You've been waiting to say that all day, haven't you? He actually rang me about that. He actually rang me about it yesterday.
Because it's ludicrous. Make up your mind.
Luda.
It's a big word for you. I'm really proud of you that you got that
Comes
word
from
out.
all these books. Comes from all these books.
the one book he's read in the background says ludicrous, and all of a sudden he's done it. I'm trying to share that.
It's a word of the day book. It's the only book I've read.
It's up there with the 100 dad jokes books or whatever it is. All right, let's get to the weekend's result. We did go down 26-12 to Manly. As Jason said, he was there. I was not. I enjoyed watching this from home and enjoyed a week off traveling to Sydney. Now, look, I thought the first half we actually looked better with the ball. We defended well. We looked better with the ball, and then just the second half just seemed to go missing. I know that seems strange because we scored our 2 tries in the second half, but people coming out, and I'm going to address this now because we're copping shit left, right, and centre saying you've been bought off by the club, you don't have an opinion anymore, all this kind of crap, because we're not calling stuff out. But we're all actually smart human beings, and we understand football, understand that it takes times. Now, I'm certainly not saying if you're making those comments, you're not a smart human being. I wouldn't say that, no. But when you understand the game of rugby league and watch it and break it down, we are starting to get somewhere. Yeah, it's not perfect yet. It's not going to be perfect for a long time. It might be perfect this year. It might be perfect next year. It might take that long. But change has happened the way we play. Now, our backs are starting to make more meters out of trouble, which is something that Jason's brought in. Those backs taking all the runs, and our forwards, only one forward will take a run a set, essentially, when we're working our trouble off our own line. Our forwards, which I got heavily criticised because they all ran less than 100 metres, means they didn't have a good game. Our forwards are actually getting on top and getting quick play the balls. And in defence, they're actually aiming up and getting up and putting some decent first contact on. I haven't seen that from a Parramatta team since 2022. Right? So the signs are there. The biggest problem is our back line isn't clicking. And the reason our back line isn't clicking is because no one is playing straight. We are very sideways. By the time the ball gets to Zach Lomax and Zach Lomax throws a shit pass over the sideline or a shit forward pass and cops shit forward, or Will Penasini does that, it's because they've jammed up on him like Michael just did with his weird hands. All right? No one is playing straight. And it's quite simple. Everyone goes, Mitchell Moses can't turn this around. Mitchell Moses can. We're creating opportunities. We're getting into our good ball sets to actually score tries. Our last tackle options suck with a kick. There's no doubt about that. All it takes is someone like Mitchell Moses to play straight for our 5'8", whoever our 5'8" may be, when Mitchell Moses does come back in the team to play straight. And then there's less pressure on Iongi and Lomax and Penasini, whoever gets the ball, and we're not ran out of trouble. There's a simple little free lesson for all those people on how rugby league works and how you can see change. I'll get to your thoughts on the game. Let's start with a new guy. Joe, your thoughts?
Boys, I was there. I was there in the Manly members, actually. So I was in amongst it. It was a tough crowd. I bit my tongue. I didn't have much to cheer about anyway. But I thought definitely improvement. It's hard. Again, I heard a stat. It was 14 from 14 sets Manly started with and were 12-0 up straight away. And that at Brookie is a tough start. So I think, week to week, we're looking a lot better, a little bit, at least in defence, definitely. I think the attack, as you said, is going to be a lot better when Mitch comes back. But I thought it was a bit better. But Brown, for me, is still just completely disinterested, or at least looks disinterested, which is the bigger problem. And I think one run in the 79th minute's not going to cut it at any stage. So, yeah, week to week improvement better, but still a little bit worried there.
I'll tell you what, Joe, and I hate to say this every week, someone new comes on, but you've just spoken more sense in that minute than Troy has in 3 years. So everyone give him a clap. Congratulations, Joe. Like, you actually spoke football sense. Troy,
that means my first 2 years were pretty good then.
Yeah, apparently. Now, Troy, maybe it was a low bar back then. Troy, your thoughts on the game? You got anything to add to that?
Well, look, it's not going to happen overnight, is it? I think we're just all frustrated that we're not winning games, but there are signs that we are improving. There is a few call-outs to a few forwards that probably shouldn't be in the side, but they've obviously got some sort of role in the team to do. That's why they're there. look, I thought at what was it 12-6, I thought there was the potential to come back. Look, a lot of people criticised Iongi for kicking on the third tackle, which went massively dead, but at least that's trying something. The execution wasn't there, but he did try something. Look, I just want to just quickly touch on something that you guys were talking about last week, and that was the players that aren't happy with the coach and wish BA was still there. Look, if they don't want to be there, if they want to be at the club, well, then give the young guys a go. Just get them in there, and they can ask for a release and go, as far as I'm concerned, to be honest, because you want everyone on the same page, and that's what Jason's trying to do. So, look, I think this week again, I was disappointed Riley didn't get as much time as what he did, but now he's starting, so he'll get probably 80. So look at it, an improvement again. Just got to go that extra step again.
Well, that's all we've got time for, guys. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night. Nah, well done, Trey. Well
Same
done.
joke every week.
I know, because it's relevant every week. Michael, your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I watched from home. Parts of it were pretty disappointing. Like, yes, like I myself talk about how I didn't expect to see any kind of change in our systems click probably until the 3 or 4 month mark. We had the same coach and systems for 11 years who neglected our juniors. That shit's going to take time. What I didn't expect to see, which is probably why a lot of us are much more frustrated than we thought would be, especially after the Melbourne loss, is things like not taking a dropout by the time the timer goes off.
Yes.
Like, that's amateur hour. Okay, so I think that's why I'm so frustrated. Like, I can take the fact that we're relearning a slide defence instead of an up and in, and we're changing our game tactics from that power game that we did so often. I get that, but things like that annoyed the shit out of me. We were closer than I thought we'd be. Manly at Brookvale on a Sunday afternoon I thought would be another slaughter of a game for us, which it wasn't. And I think our spine's just going to take time. That spine's had 2 games together, all without our main man, Mitch Moses. Now, I know when Mitch comes back, we won't automatically win games, but he will make a difference, as I've no doubt our whole attack has been based around him and his vision and whatever. And the other guys will click once he's back and start getting a few more games together. So it was probably not as bad as I expected, but there was some things in there that I hope I never see again, like missing a dropout timer. That was really fucking...
Can we highlight
Rugby League 101.
Because the funniest thing was, and you can only just hear it on the audio, the funniest thing was Junior blaming the ball boy for not having a ball. You know, if you know who the ball boy is, and I wasn't at the game, I'm assuming Parramatta had their own boy, but ball boy's there. It's Junior, Paulo. So he's probably just thrown his own son there. Because you hear the referee go, there's balls in the bucket, just go grab one out the bucket. That was great. I loved that moment. It probably made me laugh after me relatively yelling and swearing at the TV. Hayden, we'll go to you next.
Well, I watched this game after having 3 cocktails, so it was a bit.
You would have been fucking shit-faced after 3 drinks, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it was pretty.
You were fueled up.
Yeah, I was at Pop's Wake and I was on the Long Island iced teas watching this game. So, look, I thought the spine was a bit better. I thought players like Iongi stepped up and had some good moments. I thought, unfortunately, Zach Lomax made a lot of errors in this game, and I thought at one point it could get into the double digits range. I'm guessing it was probably around 5 or 6 for the total game. Some of those passes, as you mentioned, Adam. I thought Dan Hawkins did good in the kicking department again. I thought he was all right against the Bulldogs, but once again kicked in control. But yeah, I mean, we're knocking on the door of a win, but it still feels like it is a while away. The team is improving with a long way to go. I thought we could have scored more points, though. I thought our attack was better, and maybe if we held onto the ball rather than that early Zach Lomax pass, that might have been a closer game. Even though I tipped Manly by 20, I thought we probably should have been in it a bit more.
Thanks, Hayden. Wonderful. Now, Mr. Relish Man, how was your experience there on Sunday?
Well, if we're talking about where we watched the game, I watched it in the Chairman's Club.
Yeah, we know.
Right next to the Chairman's Suite, and had some great lamb, and that was probably the best part of the game.
Look, what were you drinking, Jason?
I was drinking a variety of things, trying to figure out what was the lowest calorie because I'm on a strict calorie diet. So
Yeah,
that took me a while.
Shout out to Better Beer. If we can get a sponsorship, that'd be fucking
We
great.
actually have a beer sponsor, obviously. So we are looking for a beer sponsor. And that is
Scratch that.
Riverside Brewing Co.
Can
Yeah,
you
Riverside
edit that
Brewing
out?
Oh, I can edit him in.
Look. All jokes aside, I don't think it was that bad. If I'm Riles and I'm looking at that game, I'm saying honestly, you're telling the boys 2 forward passes. I didn't think they were forward, but 2 forward passes. We would have scored first, and we would have scored within the first.
The low calorie beers obviously are now low in alcohol. If you thought they weren't forward,
Hey, it was right in front of me. I might be biased, but anyway. Look, 2 forward passes. We would have scored first. That changes the momentum of the game and the way the game is played. And look, Manly played terrible. I'll have to admit that wasn't. Turbo comes off at half time. He's injured. Cherry was just running around hoping for the best that no one would boo him. Like they didn't actually play very well. Look, Ola Kawatu was a beast, but they didn't actually play very well, and they got the job done. But we were very much in the game, except for a few moments, a bit of polishing up on the attack. Now there was a couple of horrible defensive errors, like Lomax. What a player! What a stud! I don't know what he's doing at center. He's not even concerned about sliding. He's just running up. That was very concerning. I think Penasini needs to go to the right, Lomax to the right wing, and Simo to the left center. I just think that'll be the best way to do it defensively. But anyway, look, Rolls will know best. But look, we were still one thing I do like that has been lacking for Parramatta of old is that we didn't give up. That last try, absolutely meaningless. But in terms of effort and heart, it means a lot. That we are still the team that regardless, the game is lost, we will still try and score a try. That for me is a massive cultural mentality, attitude improvement than from the BA era. So that's one thing that I enjoyed. And the Lamb.
you say it was meaningless, but you obviously didn't have Sean Lane in your multi and your anytime try score at $8.50. So it certainly wasn't meaningless for all of us because I knew it was going to happen. That's for sure.
Well done.
The same game multi went terrible, but it was just anytime at $8.50 was a good bet. Let's move on from that. Actually, we won't because you made a very valid point. I want to call it out. Will Penasini on the left. It's not just Will Penasini on the left. It's Will Penasini struggling to adapt to the new defensive structure. That first try was all on Will. We had the slide. We're obviously backing the slide this year defense. We're not backing shooting up like we've done previously and having our fullback obviously cover the outside, the up and out defense. But Will shot up for no reason. We had the numbers there, and when Will shot up, it created the overlap for Jason Saab to stroll down the sideline. And some people want to call out Iongi for missing that tackle, which, you can never blame a fullback for missing a tackle. But
Joey nailed him on the coverage, Penasini. Nailed him for it.
Yeah, he didn't need to do it. And I know, like we said, things take time. We're obviously adapting. But those first 2 tries, as Jay said, Penasini rushing up for no reason, Lomax rushing up for no reason. If they don't rush up, they don't score those 2 tries. Manly did not score again, I think, to the 65th minute or something like that after those 2 tries. And we defended our line really well, except for 2 errors. And that's what they are. And errors are going to be eliminated the more confidence you get. Joel Gowie obviously plays 200th game, so I'll just give that a quick mention. He's obviously a player that likes to interact with the podcast quite a bit as well. So congratulations on that, Joe. I know his whole family's there. And funny enough, he played his absolute arse off. So hopefully he can play like he's playing his 200th every week. And he got our player of the match. I know some of us voted different. We'll run through that with 12 runs, 98 run meters, 4 tackle breaks, 35 tackles and 1 try. Huge effort, I think, in about 47 or 57 minutes or something like that. So massive effort. Troy, agree with Offer, or you got someone else for your man of the match?
Oh, look, obviously, yeah, Offer and Gowie, but I probably would have said Iongi, a very close second. He did try things. He did make, I thought so. He did try things that didn't come off. But I would have thought he would have been a close second.
So the effort was there. Joe?
The effort was there, yes.
Your man of
Yeah,
the
I'm
match,
happy with Joe as the best, but I liked Riley Smith again. Every time he comes off the bench, we look like a completely different side. It's just a different speed around the ruck. Even his defence, for his size, is very, very good. And I think we look a lot more settled in the middle when he's playing. So if it wasn't Joe, I probably would have gone Riley Smith.
Yeah, fair shout. Hayden?
I agree with Troy. I think my man of the match is Isaiah Yongi. I thought it was his best game in a Parramatta jersey so far, but close second to Joe O.
Jace?
Thanks, Hayden.
I'm actually like perplexed because I thought Ayongi had his worst game for Parra. He made some very stupid decisions in defence, very stupid decisions, and maybe because it was right in front of me and I could see where he was positionally, but I thought he had an absolute shocker. I want to call out man of the match for Reggie's again, Joash Papali'i. What an absolute beast! That guy, if he doesn't make first grade this year, I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a chat to whoever's in charge. That guy, honestly, watching Reggie's was a delight, even though they lost. It was actually really good to watch, and I can't wait for him to debut.
So, yep, cool. We're going to get the Cup. Actually, it's funny you mentioned Cup because I watched as well, and I thought Arthur Mills-Stevens was outstanding in Cup, and he's playing in the centres again this week. Could be potential one to watch come into the centres there. You know, we do know, well, we all feel Lomax should go the wing eventually, but there's a possibility. Michael, your man of the match?
Yeah, I originally said Iongi, and then I said I was happy also with Joe. I thought they were pretty equal for me. I just thought Joe played with a bit more passion than some of the others, and I feel like at the moment passion and want and just wanting it more is a bit more of what we need. So quite happy with him to be the man of the match.
How good was his tackle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get him.
And convincing him that he scored that try was also pretty good because I'm still
there's no way he got that ball down, but he sold it perfectly. It's funny you mention that because our 3-2-1 fan 3-2-1 went 3 points to Offa, 2 to Smith, and 1 to Iongi. So everyone that's been mentioned there in the leaderboard there has Williams on top, obviously out for 6 weeks. We'll get to that. Lomax 4, Smith 4, Samarani 3, and Offengowie 3. So there's a fair few people on the list already. I think there's about I don't know how many there is. I've got somewhere else, and I'm not going to go to it. But obviously, all you got to do is have one good game, and you jump in the top 5 at the moment. But
Lomax would be there.
Lomax was there. That's what I said.
Okay.
Lomax 4 points. Yeah. You just not looking at the same screen as everyone else, or what?
You must have just flashed it off when I wasn't looking.
Yeah, must have. Yeah. Yep. Anyway. True's input, always wonderful, guys. It gets to our Defender of the Week, which I don't think I've uploaded. I think I might have forgot to upload that this week, but our Defender of the Week was...
who was that?
What?
Who was it?
It's Hopgood. It's Hopgood every week, mate. He's just literally like makes the most tackles every week. That's not what I want. We'll get to that later.
Shout out to Jack.
Yeah, we got Jack later. He's not here tonight, but we're still going to have some fun at his expense, that's for sure. But look, I'll go to this because it shows it, but Hopgood was our Defender of the Week with 43 tackles in 59 minutes. But once again, it's the same blokes. Like, the same blokes constantly on this list at the moment. And like I spoke about earlier, it shows, I guess, how much our back four are helping us get out of trouble and part of that plan, which shows that's starting to work because Ongi 172, Lomax 170, Penasini 154, Josh Adokar 132. The only one that's not there is Sean Russell, which is really no surprise because he's a fill-in at the moment anyway. And Iongi making obviously the most runs, Lomax, Penasini. That's why their meters are there. Tries to Offengowie and Lane. Tackles, as mentioned, Hopgood 43. Kidione Gatoga defending his arse off with 35. Offered a little bit more in attack. A couple of handling errors, but we'll get there with that. Offengowie 35 and Lussick 32. Tackle breaks, Lomax 6, Adokar 5, Isaiah Iongi 4, and Joe Offengowie 4. It's the only thing looking at that and the tackle breaks is no one really looked like they were going to break the line once again. We didn't look like we had a game breaker. Hayden, I'll go to you. Looking at that list, is, I guess, any surprise on there? Or are you kind of disappointed once again isn't on there?
It seems to be the usual suspects there every week. I mean, Adokar, obviously it's his second game in an Eels jersey, and he's getting there in the tackle breaks and the carries there at the bottom of the run meters of the top four. But good to see him having a dig in the colours really early on. But as you said, Hopgood's always there. Obviously, Jack Williams wasn't there due to the injury, but he's normally there around the tackles. So it's the same players. Hopefully, we start seeing some more improvement, whether it be some bench players or in the forwards department as well.
The Sean's a cop an absolute shellacking in there, which kind of takes you. We'll go to you, Joe. You're new. You can say what you want. Anyone you think should be on that list? Anyone disappointed? Anyone you think needs to put in a bit more effort?
Well, Dylan Brown's obviously obvious. I still don't understand the fascination of having Sean Russell on the wing. I feel like we do have even better options just to put out there. I like Samrani. I thought, even though he made some bad errors coming out of his line against the Dogs, at least he was having a crack, right? Or nearly broke the line that one time. Gives us a little bit more punch. He's definitely no worse than Sean and probably gives us a little bit more in attack, I would say. So I guess that's the big one for me. Lussick, it was another one, but I think he was kind of holding a spot for another week until Walker's into the side anyway. So those would be the two main ones.
Yeah, for sure. Troy?
Nah, well, I mean, it is disappointing that it is the same sort of people because that means that they're doing the same sort of work every single week. It is a team game, so let's get some different names in there. Look, people talk about Sean Lane all the time, even to an extent Katoga as well. You look at the top teams; they have a strike back row, don't they? You got Bloor at Melbourne, Liam Martin at Penrith, Viliami Kikau when he's fit at Bulldogs. So you need a strike back rower in this game. Hamoli Olakuatu on the weekend made a difference for Manly. So I think we need something out of the back rowers.
Did you mean to say Eli Katoa at Melbourne? Because Sean Bloor hasn't done anything in 3 years.
I get those two mixed up. But you know what I meant, right? You know what I meant.
We won't go into why. One legal suit's enough in a day. Jace?
What are you asking me?
Obviously not for legal advice. Top performers in that list, anyone you think should be on there? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Look, I'm not sure because I think the way that Riles is structuring things these days is he wants the forwards to be more impactful in attack within the 20 and also in defence within the 20. I think that's the idea of this. And it's what the top clubs, Penrith, Melbourne. That's what they do really is the fittest people do most of the work and the biggest people do most of the defending and most of the impact inside the 20s. So, look, it seems to be working. I agree that it'd be good if there were some different names, but those are the names. Those are our backs, right? Our fullback, our centers, our wingers, except for one. So that's what's expected. Like it'd be nice for the forwards to get a few more meters or something like that. But yeah, if it works and it does get results eventually, then why not? But if it doesn't, then obviously we can complain about that when it happens.
Yep. Yeah, Michael, you going to call anyone out, or is it going to be left to me?
Nah. People that I want in that top worker list that aren't.
Someone that you feel like may need to work a bit harder and put a bit more effort in.
Other than our favourite player, Sean Lame, Lame.
Yeah, him.
Who wants to stand on the sideline with his hands on his hips after one run and look like he's absolutely gassed.
Yeah,
yes, I want him to work harder, but I thought we all knew that.
Yeah, we do, but we've got to keep saying it because the message ain't getting through, clearly.
Well, so what I keep hearing is, why is he getting picked? Why is he getting picked? And I was trying to think about that myself today, and I couldn't figure it out. I don't know if it's there to try and get Dylan Brown a bit more confidence, to get Dylan Brown to wake up and realise he's a professional footballer. I don't know if it's because he defends, like historically him and Dylan Brown have defended well together and we have had defensive issues for the first 2 weeks. I will say our defence has been better since he's been in there. I just want him to work harder though. Like he just looks like the laziest footballer I've ever seen in my life. And for a bloke that has a documentary about mental health and all that sorts of things, like, I don't know, he just looks like he's not interested and it ain't good for his mental health. So maybe go and find something you do enjoy doing and not stand on our wing with your hands on your hips and cost us a player on the field that wants to play with a bit of heart, you know?
And that's
That what you wanted?
Yes, you have. You've saved me from saying it
And
because
it's-
I'm gonna
Please
highlight.
now all refer to him by his correct name, Sean Lame, Lame, because he's either lame like a horse and can't run, or he's just a lame football player.
I bet he's like a horse in more way than one. That's for sure. That's why I'm being cute. Look, just talking about that because you have nailed it, and we're obviously going to give constructive criticism. Defensively, he has massively improved our side. We got absolutely cut to pieces on our edges against Melbourne. Now, obviously, we haven't played a team like Melbourne since then, and we won't for quite a while, thank fuck. But, he has done his job, and that's what he was brought in to do. It's about those effort areas, as you said, and the walking around with the hands on your hip and the bludging on the wing, because all of us saw it. Everyone saw it. He was bludging on the wing when we were trying to work out trouble when the rest of our team looked gassed. The rest of our team had a reason to be gassed. Now, he did make 30-something tackles, but even when he come back on from his little stint to the HA bin for a Falcon, he still come out. I think he walked out of the tunnel with his hands on his hips and ran back on the field with his hands on his hips. And he just doesn't look like he wants to touch the ball, and I don't get it. Like I said, I don't get not being there for your team and leading by example, and that's one thing I'm really struggling with. So I thought Charlie Geimer, the time that Charlie Geimer was on, defensively, he didn't really miss a beat. His one run he had when he first come on, he ran for like 13, 14 meters or something like that. And now he's found himself dropped, out of the team again. I'm just struggling to get that.
Also, too, like you talk about mindset and stuff. Sean Lane standing there. One of the first things you get taught about mindset is don't look tired. Don't stand there with your hands on your hips. When you're trying to suck in air, don't stand there bent over with your hands on your knees, right? An attacking team is going to look at him, stand there like that, and they're going to run straight at him. It's just such a poor picture of where you're at mentally convey to stand there with your hands on your hips and not look interested. Like, my God.
Yeah, that's very sad. That's very sad. It had to be
Kids
said,
footy stuff. Put your hands on your hips, you get taken off.
Oh, bro. Like,
No,
amateur hour.
I'd hook Lucas if he had his hands on his hips in under fives. He'd be straight off. So straight away, no shit given. Like it's first game on the weekend. It's not competition because they don't play competitive. And he's already telling me how many tries he's going to score and how much he's going to win by. But anyway, let's move on from that. We'll go back to this last chance. I'll mention this, then we'll do it again. But we are giving away a jersey tonight thanks to Parra League. So once again, share the podcast. Once you've shared the podcast, hit shared towards the end. We'll draw out a winner. You must be here to claim that prize, or we will redraw after 30 seconds.
Mitchell, that picture looks so funny.
Mitchell Moses is lurking.
Just
yeah.
lurking, yeah. He's close. He's close.
So we're waiting. We are waiting. Let's move on to some of the big news of the week before we get to this week's game. And obviously, Dylan Walker has joined the Parramatta Eels. Won't go into the circumstances of why he left the Warriors. That's the best I can do. I'm absolutely heads on bodies, eh? Like, fuck, I'm so bad at it. Hayden, your thoughts on the head on the body and your thoughts on Dylan Walker?
Oh, well, I think I should refer you to Tricolour Tribe, who does much better edits than on heads on bodies than that one adds. But, yeah, I think Dylan Walker's a good signing. I made a video on it. I actually thought Dylan Brown was going to play his last game in the jersey for the Eels last week, and Dylan Walker was going to line up in the six. I just had a bold prediction, but didn't turn out that's the way. Obviously, Royal spoke about that in the press conference. But, yeah, brings a lot to the side, experience, depth and cover in a lot of positions. He can play centre. He can play lock. If needed in a position, he could play 5'8". So I think it's a really, really good signing, this one. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the colours on Saturday afternoon.
Jason, your thoughts on Dylan Walker?
Yeah, I like it. He's going to bring a bit of spark, a bit of experience. Something like 230 games or something he's got under his belt. That's a lot of experience. We don't have a lot of that at the moment. Every time he's played for the Warriors, he's come off the bench. He ignites something in attack. He can play 6, he can play 14, he can play 13, he can roam, he can play in the forwards. He's a great addition to the team. And I hope it's another situation where, just like Addo Carr, we need that chat, we need that direction. So I'm hoping that someone like Walker will bring that chat and that direction to the team as well.
I just think he's just a really good bloke to have around the club as well. Really helps you out around with the staff, and around the office and everything like that. So he's just going to bring some great culture, that's for sure. Troy?
Oh, look, he's an experienced player, premiership winner, origin player. The thoughts on the picture there? It's better than the
You don't get
Gutho
your thoughts on the picture. Hayden's the one that bagged me out for making them look like they've had their
But
heads.
better than the Gutho picture in the paper. But look, yeah, he'll add that spark off the bench. Hayden said he had a bit of a prediction that thought might have happened. I thought we could have maybe had the two Dylans in the halves this weekend, but we all know how that experiment went last year, so that's not going to happen. But nah, look, a different face, another new face. So you just have to wait and see what happens.
Michael?
Yeah, I think it's good. He would have cost us bugger all, I'd imagine. I think he can fill a number of holes, and honestly, I think when Moses back, if Dylan Brown doesn't pick his game up, we'll see him in the 6.
Yeah, catch you out. Joe, your thoughts on Dylan Walker?
Yeah, I think on the field, very good signing. I think off the field, there's obviously some history. So, yeah, like recent and past. But I think on the field, as a 14, he is probably one of the better ones in the comp. But I think it's exactly what grade and a bit more balance in the bench.
He's gone through a tunnel. Where'd he go? Frozen. You're
I
back.
was going to say, is that me?
I'm back. Did I cut out? Oh my god!
You got out, yeah.
Good signing. Good signing. We'll keep it short. Good signing.
It's funny you mentioned that because I actually remember Parramatta playing when he was playing for Manly. I think it was 2022 when Manly touched us up before we went on a bit of our run. Or it might have been 2023. I remember you screaming out that we're making Dylan Walker look like Andrew Johns and he's fucking shit. Now all of a sudden you think he's a good signing. So do you care to address that? Is it because he's wearing blue and gold now you've changed your mind? Or
Well, he's definitely better than some of the ones that we've had. So, especially in the last few weeks off the bench. So, yeah, look, time heals all wounds. I think obviously emotions were probably getting the better of me in the corner that night. So we might have to wear that one, and hopefully he's a lot better in the blue and gold.
hopefully, I'm sure he'll cop it anyway. That's for sure.
He'll hear us, absolutely.
You do not forget. All right, let's move on from that one. Obviously, the other news is Jack Williams injured. This one kind of caught us by surprise. It came out as the team list dropped down 24 hours before. Had a knee clean out. I'm guessing it's an arthroscope because it's only a 6-week recovery. I saw him getting around on a bike, riding a bike already with his daughter. So with a bit of, I guess, support on that knee. So it's, I think, about 2 weeks and he's back to running. I've had one and it wasn't a major thing. So huge loss. I thought Jack had been one of our best. Some people don't agree because of one missed tackle against the Dogs. But I thought he'd been really good defensively. So obviously hoping Jack gets better. I guess that means someone like, Sam Tuivasa, who was starting to see his minutes start to come up a bit more, obviously gets an opportunity there as well. Got the opportunity on the weekend to play a bit more minutes, and I thought performed quite well. So moving on from this one, and we've got to bring this up, and I can't play the sorry song again, unfortunately, because I think I did offend this guy, but Ryan Madison, I guess he's someone we could kind of rely on at the current time, with these injuries and I guess the need for, I guess, a bit of aggression, a bit of someone with a bit of, I'm not going to say the word, but you know what I mean about him. He could come in and lead our line and offer some stuff, but he just doesn't seem to be there. Like, he's starting at lock this week in New South Wales Cup. He started last week in the second row. I don't know what's going on in that situation, attitude-wise, but I do hope it changes because I feel like he's someone we could certainly use as we're trying to rebuild this. Hayden, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I think Madison or even Cartwright coming back. I know Cartwright obviously didn't look great in the trials, flashy. I think there's a few issues there going on with Madison, and I don't think he's in the picture long term at the club. I think whether it be Super League or another club, we'll get him by the end of the year going into next season. But we spoke about Sean Lane earlier, and I actually want to see Bryce Cartwright come in and get a shot. He hasn't been there all year. I know Riles probably doesn't see him in the plans, but I think it's between Madison and Cartwright who's given that extra shot, whether it's starting in the back row or via the bench. And for me, boys, I think it's time to give Bryce Cartwright a shot.
He's injured. He's not playing cup. He's got a rib injury. But I think the problem is there's a bit more to it than just that.
Well, Helen, that's why I should be watching Cup. So apologies.
Yeah, that's true. You should have been there early the other week and you would have seen it. Jace, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. Maddo is someone we used to rely upon to be, big minutes, bit of experience, can run the ball, can play the ball, throw it around, can play different positions, come off the bench. And honestly, I think that's what Walker is going to do for us. I think he is going to play that Madison role. And what I see here, what Walker doing, is coming on and then staying on, and then floating around into different positions, like Matto used to do. And I love Matto. I mean, he's like, when I think back about some of the years he's played for us, like 2022 had a great season. Sorry, 2022 when he first got to us in 2020 had a great season. So I've just I don't know what's going on either. There could be an attitude problem. It could be a lower back injury. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, look, he triggered his option for next year as well, didn't he? So I'm hoping that he actually does want to turn up and get back into NRL.
That's my fear. And we'll address Tim's comment first. I just put up. There was a rumor floating around, and it was on Triple M that there is a player that's been faking injuries, and they got it down to 2 players in the NRL. One was Katoni Staggs, one was Ryan Madison. Now, faking injuries. Now, let's talk about that Maddo extension you just took. Now, of course, Ryan Madison took his extension. It was about $600,000. He was shopped around last year, and no club wanted to take him in the NRL. Whether there were some Super League offers, but he didn't want to go there. Of course, he's going to take his $600,000. And honestly, I feel like it's a bit of a fuck you to the club. It's you've turned around, you've tried to ship me off. I've been good for the club, and I agree. At the time, I didn't like it. We obviously come out and support him last year. Not that he remembers that, but we did come out and support him last year because I thought he had so much to offer, as I still think he does if he gets back to his best. And now it's like he's just turned around and said, I'm not going to try anymore. I've got my money. I'm taking it. I'm happy to play Cup and put in no effort, because he put in absolutely no effort on Sunday in New South Wales Cup as well. I was asked about his performance, and I didn't even realise he was out there. All I saw was his brother. But, Michael, you look like you're half agreeing, you're agreeing. What's your thoughts?
I am going to be bearer of truth. I don't get the factuation with the bloke. Honestly, in reality, he has not done a single good thing for this club since 2022. That was 3 years ago. He took 3 or 4 weeks off instead of playing for our club. He took it out of his own because he didn't want to pay his money. He hasn't done a single thing since. Now, I agree. Primetime Ryan Madison could be fantastic for us. He was playing Origin or on the verge of playing Origin when he was in his prime. But that was 3 years ago. He's not doing anything in Cup. We offered him around to every other club in the NRL, and no one wanted him. So that there should be a red flag and go, well, is he really that good anymore? Because I don't think he is. I don't know why everyone wants to see him play. I would much rather see a young bloke put in there and make mistakes every week for the next 8 weeks, who wants to be out there and wants to take hits for our club and wants to hit for our club, knowing that they will get better, whereas Ryan Madison probably will not. So I don't get it.
I just don't want to see him sitting on $600,000, putting in no fucking effort and taking up $600,000 of a cap space. And most importantly, he's taken up. Well,
that, though.
You can fire him. You can get rid of him. He's got a clear attitude. Hit him with a couple of breaches. You can hit him with breaches.
For what?
Jason, can we fire him? Being a dog.
Yeah, you can definitely terminate his contract, but you'd have to just pay him out for next year.
He's playing in reserve grade, but he's still playing foot. You can't fire him. Let's be.
You can terminate his contract if there's a reason to do it.
They don't have a reason.
Well, maybe starting at OnlyFans is one of the reasons, but who knows, Troy? You can probably comment more on that. That's for sure. Joe, your thoughts, and we'll let Troy finish off. He's obviously been spending a bit of time with Matter.
No, I think Mika nailed it there. He hasn't played consistent or well in a very, very long time for us, and on big money. And for, I guess, the period that he was good, he was touch and go, potentially, Origin or on the brink of Origin, I thought, for one of those seasons. But again, concussions, back injuries, a lot of things that the club's definitely stuck by him with, and hasn't repaid anyone. He's only ever looked after himself since then. It looks like, at least. And I think, I think blooding a junior and having someone come through, having 8 to 600 of the cap's not great, but no one wants him. We can't get rid of him. He's going to take up his option next year, so it's something that we're just going to have to roll with.
Yeah, he's taking it. That's a problem. Troy?
Well, Yeah, I mean, you guys have summed it up pretty well. I think it's only he knows what he needs to do or wants to do. Look,
Just
obviously,
keep
he wants
talking,
to,
Troy. You talk. We'll just look. You talk.
just like Ryan's looking. Yeah. Yeah, look, he needs to work out what he needs to do. I think a lot of fans got off him when he didn't take that or pay that fine and took the suspension instead. But yeah, of course he's going to take up the option and stay and play reserve grade. Who knows? Maybe like obviously not being in the background, but did maybe he got asked to change his body shape like Junior, slim down. Like I don't know. And maybe he didn't agree with that. But if he doesn't want to be there, then as I said before, and like you guys have said, um, get him to leave.
Is that a sound effect, or is that someone's house got a car in going through it?
Someone's just fucking off to go and get Ryan Madison and drive him out of here.
That was probably him on his Harley, actually.
You might
riding
be.
past.
You might be honest here. Because you would have got one of those melatonin things thrown through your window. That's for sure. If it would seem so. Well, Michael would have. If it went past his house. Yeah, you might be honest, ain't Troy? Maybe he actually got asked to train legs days twice a week, and he said, "Nah, fuck this, I'm off yous," and that's what's happened since then. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on from the Ryan Massey, and we'll get to next week's game. We have to address this first. Jack obviously isn't here. I just want to let everyone know that's been following along, been playing along, that Jack obviously has sorted out his tattoo now. He's very happy with the signing of Dylan Walker, and it's now been changed to Go Yourself, Dill Walks. Oddly enough, he still has Dylan Brown's signature, but, we're not that fucking creative, so we'll just leave it at that. Jack will be getting... Look, if there is any tattoo artists out there, either in Parramatta or the Sunshine Coast, where Jack lives, let us know, and we'll see what we can get fixed up and see if we can get it changed to Dylan Walker. I don't even care. It's not my body. If you put a red line through Dill Bags and just write Dill Walks next to it, it'd be funny as fuck. He's got to live with these consequences. So let's make that happen. If someone knows someone, let's make it happen. Happy to pay for it. That's for sure. Let's move on to this week's game. This week's game, obviously, against St. George. It is the Gutho return game. I don't know if you've seen. There's a bit of stuff going around about that, but we'll get to that. A few haters, a few not for it, a few for it. I want to start with this. And we started this Gutho thing last year. I was literally the first person to call Gutherson out for not being the same player he was. Like, I'd seen it a couple of times sitting there with Joe behind me. I went up and sat with Michael in the pleb section. Up with Michael on the bus trip section, because we were on a bus trip full of drunk people and we all sat there, about 20 of us. And yeah, that was Michael the whole way down, the whole way home. Always the first person to start drink, last one to finish, drink responsibly. Now, of course, he was drinking Riverside Brewing Co., just to mention that. And I sat up high, and the best thing about sitting behind at Combank Stadium, sitting up high, is you can watch the backline moves very well, opposed to where me and Joe sit or where me and Jason sit and have relish. And what I saw is Clint Gutherson struggling to get to his backline moves. And that was the start of it. I called him out. Now, when I called him out and said he's not the same player anymore and he's starting to struggle, he needs to be moved on, we need to either get him medically retired or force him retirement or force him out the club. I was called every name under the sun, mostly by Joel, and then others joined in. But like, I copped heat left, right, and centre. Absolutely cop shit for it. I was unloyal, look at everything he's done for the club, all this kind of crap. Now, I was right, obviously, because Jason Rolls come in and picked it up straight away. People from the club started noticing it. I'd like to think it's because I called it out, but we won't go that far. But, he's been moved on, and now he's been moved on, and people seem to forget those same people that were calling us out and calling me every name under the sun for having that opinion. Now I've forgotten everything this bloke's done for the club. Now, I sat down with Jim Sarantinos last year, leading up to the AFL Grand Final. You remember I had my Swans jumper on. So it was that week. It was after our season had finished, leading up to the NRL Grand Final as well. And we spoke about Gutho, and there was obviously rumours floating around, and it wasn't confirmed if Gutho was going to go at that time. And the one thing that Jim turned to me and said is, if he is to go, I'd love for him to get the send-off he deserves. Now, the club had full intentions to keep him around for the year, before obviously moving on at the end of the year. And he decided to take an option, obviously, to go to St. George because there was a better deal there. There was a longer term deal he wanted to play on. Do we judge him for that? No. Like, if you retired a long time and rugby league's a short career, I personally don't think you'll see out the 3 years. I'm glad he's gone away from Parramatta with what he can offer, but I don't blame him for going. I just find it really frustrating and really rich from people to turn around and not near respect what he's done for the club. So obviously we will be having that minute's applause in the 9th minute for the 9 seasons he put in and the 9 years of fucking effort he put in. The first one to lead the line, the first one to take a tough carry, always there in defence, and I guess until the end always tried his ass off, and that was probably his downfall. His downfall was he tried his ass off way too much. So get around that. We'll have people handing out flyers as well. We do have flyers going out. I forgot to put the graphic up. The graphic's going up now. So 9th minute, simple standard clap. And people saying, support the team, support the young blokes need it. Mate, for 79 minutes, they're going to get the support they need. People that are literally turning around and saying, support your team, they're probably the same people that booed the crap out of Dylan Brown for the last 3 weeks. So for 1 minute, I don't think it's much to do. I think there will be, and not confirmed, there will be some kind of, acknowledgement of Gutho as well by the club. So that's my thoughts. Hayden, I know you've been pretty much for this as well. You obviously be leading it. Your thoughts on obviously this and I guess what Gutho offered the club in his return to Parramatta this week.
Yeah, I think it's a big game. Gutho returning to, his old ground after joining. And it's an interesting one because on both arguments, people can say yes or no. But as you've mentioned, Adam, and highlight, he's done so much for the club. Obviously hasn't bought, a premiership, but that's not all footy's about. He's been a captain, a leader, as you said, someone who's had a big moments in defence. He's just done it all. There's been seasons there where there's been injuries to a lot of players and Gutho's played every game all year round. Obviously, the later years, there was a few injuries there, but just as you said, that 9 years was so crucial in that time, and he was such a Parramatta player. It's a shame he couldn't have retired as a Parramatta player, but I really think this is a good way to send him off on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think he'll know about it too. I think he'll know about this pre-game a lot. I think it'll be in his mind and it will be, do the fans do this for me? And he won't care too much in that aspect of will the fans do this for me or not, but I think he'll know about it pre-game. I do.
He doesn't. He 100% knows about it. I know he knows about it. Joe?
Yeah, look, I think it's one of those situations where everyone, it's a very amicable breakup. Like everyone kind of won out of it, right? Like we sort of get him off the books maybe a year earlier than we would have liked, but we got him off at the right time. But I do think, like you said, the back end of that 3-year deal may not look as good as it looks now. I think we can judge him off another few more years of footy. But getting him off the books a year early, blooding a kid a year early, I think, and, him securing a longer deal, everyone wins. So won't be any animosity there, not from, any fans or even from him. As I said, it's a situation that probably made sense for everyone. So keen to see him, come back, hopefully get the result over him for sure. But very different to many players that have left us over the years and left on bad terms or left because they've checked out or, gone to reserve grade and not pulled their rate. It's just one of these situations where, you tip your hat and, hopefully we can still get the result, but he'd be getting a warm reception. It'd be very surprised if not.
Yeah, he deserves it. And like I said, the other thing was, I get the rivalry, but the way that the Dogs fans treat Addo, it's a completely different thing. Addo only been there a couple of years, but I didn't like it. I don't think he deserved it. I think he gave all of those fans all of that club the time he was there, and at the end of the day, the club fired him. So people comparing it to Zach Lomax and St. George, like Lomax obviously St. George Jr., he obviously left, for different reasons, but you can't compare to. I don't care what St. George fans do to him. He left. They feel different. Let's just say that. They feel very different as to why he left. Jace, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just think it's just about mutual respect. Look, we love Gutho. He was deteriorating for us. Seems like he's got a new lease on life at St. George, but that's a whole different story. It's just about the fact that he didn't get a send-off from us. We love Gutho. He was honestly one of my favourite players, like getting up there with like a Nathan Highmarsh. So to just give him a minute of respect in hopefully a time of the game that's just, not too controversial or not too important, just to show that respect, I think he deserves that at the very least. So, yeah, I mean, he's at another club and it happens all the time. He doesn't deserve anything but respect and praise for what he did for Parra, and yeah, something small just to show some gratitude.
Yeah, I agree. Michael?
Yeah, I got a couple of things. Firstly, what you said about him being slow in a position, like what you picked up on that game you were at Power Up with me. Like, do people not remember the Knights games? Like, the reason we lost that Knights game last year was because he dropped 2 balls because he couldn't get position. Or the Brisbane game where Tristan Saylor ran around him. Like, the last 15 minutes of a lot of games last year, we got run over top of because he just couldn't get to where he needed to be. So, the club said, look, mate, you're not going to be fullback for us next year. We needed to bite the bullet. We needed a young, fast fullback. We had an opportunity. We didn't know where we were going to play him. We had no plan for him. So he said, righto, well, if I can go somewhere else, are you going to stand in my way? And they went, no, mate, of course not. Like, so he's trying to extend his rugby league career. It's not the same as Dylan Brown. People keep comparing it to Dylan Brown, who's just leaving for money after we support him through a lot of shit. It was just a mutual thing. Sometimes mutual breakups benefit both people. So, and you're right. Yeah. So it's just about saying thank you. Us fans never got to say thank you at Combank for the 9 years he did put in. Now, I don't think St George will get 3 years out of him. I think he's exactly what St George needs, though. They need that leadership. They need that bloke who's going to do that. People comparing Ionga to him now. Ionga's played 4 or 5 first-grade games of footy. He might get there, he might not. But that's who we've put our money behind. Someone young and fast and fit. So I don't really understand why people are so up in arms about it. If you don't want to stand and clap in the 9th minute, then don't. If you do, then do. And that's it. It's over after 30 seconds of a minute, and we can all get on with our lives. You know?
Yeah. As Michael just said, sit the fuck down and shut up is pretty much what he was trying to say. Like, I didn't say that. Michael said it. So if you obviously can't get around that 1 minute, Troy, you'll be there. I dare say you probably have a skin full being a Saturday after you finish work. You don't have to work on the Sunday. You'll be standing and clapping and wahooing, I'm guessing.
Actually, I got the day off on Saturday, so
You're going to start early. Great.
So. Look, I mean, Gutho's an interesting one, isn't it? Because when he came to the club and played those first couple of games, everyone was off him and didn't want him at the club. And then they fell in love with him, and he was there for a long time after that. And now they're not wanting to thank him for his service at the club. I mean, it's not compulsory. You don't have to do it. So if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But, I mean, let's just hope that St George don't score a try in the 9th minute.
Oh, that's what's going to happen.
It was just like last year.
Well, what happened last year? I don't remember that. No, what are you talking about?
No, it'd be good if Parramatta scored a try in the 9th minute because we'd all be standing up and cheering anyway.
Imagine if Gutho scores a try in the 9th minute. Like, fuck. You know the world's out to get you, wouldn't you, if that happened?
But look, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to do that. And as you said, as everyone said, look, no one got a chance to say goodbye to him the proper way. And, this is just a quick, easy thing to do. And, why not just do it?
You know what else?
You see all the comments of people telling stories about good things he did and memories and stuff. Like, you never got a chance to say thank you for that at Combank. Like, I don't get why people wouldn't want to. But I also don't get why, if he was told, like, he was leaving at the end of this year, so this year was always going to be a write-off for us. Why wouldn't we start a young fullback and start working toward, like, I don't get the hate for it all. It's weird to me. Let's just all be happy and get along.
You didn't get to say goodbye to Fui properly either.
Parramatta
and we're filthy about that, right? We're filthy that we didn't get to say goodbye to Fui properly. And someone else brought up Tim Manor, and I said, well, Tim Manor never came back to Combank. If he did, we could have done something like. So why are we happy? Why are we turning our back on Gutho, but other players were like, oh, we didn't get to say goodbye? Like,
to be fair to Tim Manor, he played in that New South Wales Cup game in his last game for Parramatta. And there was actually a shit ton of people there for that game. Like, there was heaps there early for New South Wales Cup just to acknowledge him. So, like I said, hopefully it goes well. Just to all the whingers, just like I said, put aside for 1 minute. The majority of people whinging probably aren't going to be there anyway. So, I guess the diehards are going to be there. And let's be honest, it's going to be the diehards that are there because there is a lot of people falling off already after going and watching 2 home losses and starting the year 0-4. They're going to remember everything he's done anyway. So take your pamphlet. If you don't agree with it, put it in the bin, do whatever. But, obviously show a bit of respect to people handing them out and obviously show respect to Gutho. Let's get to the team list.
Hang on. How are we going to say goodbye to Brown? Like, it's such a different situation. My God.
I don't know who said that, and I can't find it. Hang on.
Robert Delaney. How are we going to say goodbye to Brown? Dylan
Well,
Brown chose to walk away from the club for money after we supported him through 2 off-field situations and hasn't played decent footy for us for 2.5 years. Why the fuck are we saying goodbye to him? We're saying good riddance to him.
His face will come up on the screen with all the other retirees or leavers.
We also know.
Such a different situation.
We also know when Dylan Brown's last game is going to be, technically. So.
Oh, well, no, we don't. It could be any week, to be honest.
Yeah. I guess, it's same. But Gutho, we thought, was staying. Like, that last game against the Tigers, he pushes RCG out to run the boys out as a joke, thinking, I'll still be here, but RCG won't. Anyway, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Imagine if on game day in the 9th minute the Eels lose their challenge or the Dragons win their challenge and we're all just clapping for that particular moment.
Or no, what do I remember is NRL apparent crackdown on any high tackle be a sin bin if someone gets sin binned because they fucked up the NRL. They should have done that before Magic Round. Everyone's just been waiting for a repeat of Magic Round 2021.
Yeah.
And how glorious it would have been to watch all those sin bins again when everyone's in the one place. But anyway, let's get on to the team list. I'm going to get fullback. Hang on, it's not my turn. Joe, you're new. So what we like to do is everyone has to read out the team list, and we're very strict on the pronunciation and how good a job they do. So, because this could be your only ever appearance, let's run through it. You're on.
Fullback Isaiah Iongi, and number 2 on the wing, Sean Russell. Number 3, Will Penasini. Other centre, Zach Lomax, Josh Adokar. Everyone's favourite, Dylan Brown and Dean Hawkins in the halves. Joe Offahengawi, Riley Smith, Junior Paulo in their front 3. Sean Lane and Kitione Katoga. Jermaine Hopgood rounding out the rest of the forwards. Off the bench, Dylan Walker, Luca Moretti, Sam Tuivasa, and Dan Kerr.
Extended bench, please.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go for Joash Papali'i, Charlie Geimer, Bailey Simonson, Brendan Hands, and Ronald Volkman. Tony Mustafa, proud sponsor.
Oh, yeah, even the sponsor shout out. Yeah, very good.
Right. Jason will hire you soon if you just walk around plugging his sponsor around the ground, left, right, and centre. So, look, obviously the big change in that team, well, not really that many changes, but Riley Smith starting hooker, expected to play 80 minutes unless Hopgood spends a little bit of time there if needed. I know he can do that. Dylan Walker comes in and Luca Moretti comes in. Luca Moretti, a bit of an interesting one where he's actually going to play. We could see Hopgood go the front row for a bit, which could see Moretti play in the second row or in the middle. He seems to be more shaped for a middle now, showing from that Achilles injury. And Dan Kerr's the same. Dan Kerr played second row New South Wales Cup a couple of weeks back. Seemed to play mostly middle. It kind of means that Lane and Katoga are probably going to play the majority of minutes once again. I'm hoping one of these guys does come on and play in the second row because I just don't see the need to push those guys to massive minutes. Yes, defensively doing a great job, as we touched on before. The only thing I see Bailey Simonson coming in for Sean Russell. Bailey got through New South Wales Cup. He's played 1.5 games in New South Wales Cup now. Seemed to be good. Wouldn't say he's the best back on the field for New South Wales Cup. I think that was Arthur Neal-Stevens for sure, but comes back in the team as we knew he wouldn't. You think he'd start on that left wing for Sean Russell, who has been constructively criticised, needs to go to reserve grade and learn how to catch a ball and defend under the new structure and probably run a bit harder. That's a team list. Your thoughts on the team list? Joe, I'll go to you first because you obviously read out a team list. Your thoughts on that team list?
Thank you. As I said, a little bit more better balanced on the bench with Dylan Walker there. Moretti and Kerr is interesting to me. I do think Geimer's getting a little bit of a hard time not being in somewhere. I feel like every time he's played for us, he's been pretty handy. So, look, overall, the bench is a little bit more balanced. I think Simonson, like he's going to be there for Russell eventually. It's just, how fast he's been recovering or how he's Cup. I know he only played 1.5, and if he's getting any better or any quicker. But again, like I said, he can't be worse than Sean Russell, so he can't be far away. But yeah, definitely, I would say the strongest team that we've named so far this year, and I think, as I said, a lot more well-rounded.
Yeah, agree. Troy?
Yeah, look, really excited to see how Riley goes starting the game, and probably play the 80 minutes. I guess we've all been calling it for a few weeks now. The only other change that I probably would have made, but I can see why he's held his spot. Dan Kerr on the bench, I probably would have put Guymer on the bench there instead of Kerr. But all in all, pretty strong lineup. And Dylan Walker on the bench. He's always going to be on the bench. So, yeah, no, it's a pretty strongish side that can beat the Dragons.
You both mentioned Guymer, and I mentioned it before. I think Guymer is someone who just is struggling to adapt to obviously being that little bit fitter and having that small size frame. Like, last year was a bit of a power game, and Dan Kerr still has a bit of size, but seems to be a bit more versatile and a bit quicker on his feet, and really good leg drive. So I think that's why Kerr's got the nod. That could probably backfire on me after saying that, and Guyman may get the call up last minute. But I went there, I said it, I'm sticking with it. Michael?
Yeah, bench looks really good. I'm keen to see how Moretti goes. There was talk of, even before Christmas, people watching training, how we're chaining to a more mobile pack and how Moretti's going to suit that really well.
Do you mean the other podcast?
I can't remember. I think it was me and you just talking one night drunk.
Some podcast, Adam. Some podcast.
Oh, no. I wasn't referring to that. I was talking to a chat between me and you.
And when you say drunk, you were probably drunk, not me. Just putting that out there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Too much Riverside Brewing Co.
So that excites me. I do hope Bailey comes in. But other than that, I think this whole Riley Smith playing 80 minutes thing, I don't think we'll see it all season. I think we'll see it for blocks. He's young. He's got to get used to playing 80 minutes at hooker for first grade. I think they'll be moving towards that for next year. But it'll be good to see how he goes.
Guys, don't forget to give away this jersey. I'm going to give away a special prize, though. Because Tim Murphy, I don't know what's wrong, mate, but you haven't agreed with the thing that's been said all night. So if you come see me on the weekend, I'm going to buy you a Snickers because you clearly need one because you're not you when you're angry, all right? So come see us, mate. I don't know what's going on. Reach out if you need to have a chat about something, but that's all. It is a stronger lineup. Our bench certainly does look a lot stronger. Jace?
Yeah, look, a few minor changes. I am trying to understand what's happened with Guymer. It could be a bit of the leg speed. It could be something else. Definitely Walker. Definitely Walker brings in a lot of experience, like we discussed. Look, Papali'i needs to slide in somehow, some way. And I'm still a little bit disappointed that Hands is.
Dylan Walker has, but yep.
Yeah. No comment. It's a little bit also disappointing that Hands has somehow dropped out of favour because he's actually been playing quite well in Cup. And I saw a couple of comments saying that maybe when Mitch comes back, he does come to a 14 role or back to number 9. I don't know. I just think at the moment what Rolls is doing is trialing things. He is sort of testing things out, especially with the bench and bench rotation. So for me, Rolls is looking very long term. So if Rowley starts and does 80 or different players on the bench are sort of swapped around, for him it's no big deal because he wants to try everything out and see how it works.
Yeah, you're right. He is looking long term. I agree with that. Yeah. As for Hands, I'm okay. Like, I never saw Hands as an 80-minute hooker. Like, it's funny. Like, I see Hands as a really, really good 14. I'm not going to put that comment up. A really good 14. And I guess that role's kind of been taken now by Dylan Walker. He's come in, he's going to play that role, and they offer different things, but I don't know, like, I think Brendan Hands' problem is his versatility in a way. Like, he told us, obviously, that Venel and he wants to be a hooker, he wants to be a 9, he's a 9 now. But, he's going to float in and out, and I see him getting back into 14 eventually somehow, but I just don't know when. Hayden?
A few things to say. First off, I agree with Tim on the comment that Troy says it's a strong lineup when Sean Lane is still in this side. Mika, I agree with you on the Riley Smith. I think we'll be seeing him block him in jersey number 9, but playing the full 80 minutes, I think will be an experiment early on. I think it'll work later, but I don't think we'll see it all year. As for Jason, I believe I could fill in for Jason next week, and when we get to this part of the segment, I could say the usual. It could be a recording. That's up to you. Josh Papali'i to be in the 17. and Brendan Hands to be in the 17, because it's all that he said. As for
Jeez,
myself,
where do you fit them all in?
As for myself for this lineup, strong's not the right word, but I think it is improved. I think it's a better bench size-wise as well. Obviously, Dylan Walker bringing that spark. It's good to see Luca back, sort of a smaller body forward as well, rather than these big boppers, because the smaller forward game is starting to work more and more in the NRL. I like what I've seen of Sam Tuivasa as well, so I think it's a pretty good lineup for the most part, but probably not strong.
All right, we're going to go to our bowl predictions now. Get your final questions in, and then after we do the bowl predictions, we'll draw that jersey, and then we will answer a few more questions for getting out of here for the night. All right, bowl predictions. I've been holding that in and it come out at the worst time. I'm still sick, guys. I've got a voice this week, but I've been fucking crook all week still. It's absolutely fantastic. You know what? Troy, we'll let you go first because we know you're going to say Will Penasini first try scorer. Let's just go with it.
Okay.
Okay, just get Hayden to do the recording for you.
Yeah. No, well,
Every week.
and
Every week. Oh my god.
22-12, Parramatta. Will first try scorer. Bold prediction, Riley Smith, 2 tries, 140-20.
Oh, fuck, that's bold.
Bold.
That is massively bold. Jason?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go with Parramatta to win 22-16. And first try scorer will be Zach Lomax, and he'll go off. He might do a backflip.
What, off the field?
No, do like as in like go nuts, like maybe a backflip from
Is in that
from
relish?
Maybe he might do a Gutherino.
He could do a Gutherino. That'd be interesting. And what bold prediction is Gutherson will score, and he will give an applause to the crowd. A very gentleman,
Like a rugby player.
yeah, like a soccer player when they score against their old team and they just go.
Okay. Michael, I know you're tipping St. George because you've been saying all week we can't beat St. George without
Correct.
Moses. So give us your
tipping
tip.
St. George. I cannot see us scoring enough points without him. I reckon it'll be a bit of a bludger of a game, actually. I'm going to go, I don't know.
We call that a Sean Lane of a game. Just FYI now.
Sean Lane with an M.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to go Dragons 20-8. I'm going to go Val Holmes first try scorer. And I'm going to go... That's not a very bold prediction, Jamie. That's a pretty much sure bet. Bold is the opposite of a sure bet. Bold prediction, I'm going to go, I don't know, Gutho to get a double. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I'm going to go Parramatta 28-26. I'm going some points in this game. Both teams have shown they cannot turn up. And going with the game last week for you, like the Dragons are in that game because of the conditions. And in fact, Melbourne were absolutely fucking terrible. Melbourne were so off. As soon as they didn't have those high kicks across the field to their wingers, they were absolutely lost and they really struggled with that Jerome Hughes. So 28-26, my first try scorer, I was going to go Zach Lomax as well. We can double up and go on Zach Lomax. My bold prediction is for Isaiah Iongi to double every single one of Clint Gutherson's stats.
Ooh.
That's a big call, by the way. That means he's going to have to run for about 280 metres. So
if Gutho has 20 runs, Isaiah's got to have 40.
Yeah, that's not fucking possible, actually. Okay, double his run meters, double his try assists, double his tackle breaks, line breaks, try assists, meters. There you go.
Don't put run meters in there. That's also impossible.
No, it's not. Gutho runs for 120 metres with a dodgy knee.
I don't think he's ever run that low in his career. He's always above 200, which means
he's going to this week.
400.
Someone nailed it in the comments, right? Clint Gutherson will try and overplay his hand massively. He won't be doing those tough things because he'll be popping up in the back line trying to overplay his hand. He'll be trying to prove a point. That's why I see it.
It's a bold prediction, Mika.
Okay. You're right. Okay.
Do you want to get removed like Troy is?
I'm good.
I've got Andy Bowen from Castle Ray Radio, formerly Hawksy Radio, ready to go. So I'll bring him in. He's always ready. All right, Hayden.
Well, it's worked, hasn't it? I've tipped against us for the Storm game, the Bulldogs game, and now Manly. So I'm going the opposite, guys. I think we get a win, our first win of the season here. I'm tipping the mighty Parramatta Eels, back to tipping them. I'm going 24 points to 20. First try scorer, Josh Adokar. I think it'll be Dean Hawkins with the try assist there. And my bold prediction, I think it's going to be a big game from Zach Lomax, and he's going to have an Iceman boot. So I'm going to go Zach Lomax to have 14 individual points.
Yeah, okay. I'll allow that. Your bold predictions are usually pretty shit, so I will allow that. Go.
I will go Parramatta 24, Dragons 10. First try scorer, Riley Smith ducking under the ruck, under the post. And bold prediction, Josh Adokar hat-trick.
Okay. We'll take that as well. It's good. He's probably done the best debut on bold prediction. Hasn't gotten confused and said something random. I'm actually still waiting for Benny to give his bold prediction from 3 weeks ago. He's still waffling about it. So, all right, guys, get your final questions in. I'm going to quickly draw this. There's 41 people share this. So you got 1 in 41 chance. Remember, you have to be here. You got 30 seconds to claim. We'll get some music ready. Just to be ready. We've always got music on standby. You don't know what it could be. It's random shit I've recorded, mostly to entertain my son. But all right, where we go. Here we go. There we go. It's number 19. No, you're banned. You screwed it up last time. We're going from the top. Oh, fuck. Why won't I let this go again?
8,
I can-
9,
It's not you, Khalid. Sorry.
11,
Don't get too
12,
excited.
13, 14,
2, 3,
15,
4, 5,
16,
6, 7.
17, 19. Was it 19?
Yeah, can someone tell me who it is?
Scott Mangold at 8:26 p.m.
All right, Scott, you got 30 seconds to reply if you're here.
Go.
If you're
30
not here.
seconds.
What do you guys want to hear? You want to win some? He's got till 30 seconds essentially, 35 seconds. All I've pretty much got is this.
That's it.
That's 20 seconds.
Oh,
He's there. He's there.
He got it.
Shared have.
Should have.
Yeah,
He's there.
he's there.
Scott, you're the winner, mate. Message the page, which you've done regularly anyway. So message the page, and we'll sort that out for you. That's it. Fuck, that was good. We only had to do it once. How perfect was that? All right. Any questions? Sorry, you've been. Who said 24 and you had 4? What was your score prediction, Hayden?
24-20? What?
If Lomax scores 14, total score is 24. Who else will kick a goal?
Lomax scores 14. Adokar scores a try. Lomax scores a try.
Doesn't mean
Nah,
Lomax
nah,
kicks them all, though.
Yeah, but 24 points in 14, he's got a point.
Oh, yeah.
Because for the 10, it means to be a try. So you can either have 16 or you can have 12. It doesn't really work. But you know what? That's why it's a bold prediction. Anything could fucking happen on the day.
Fuck that.
Dylan Walker kicks a 2-point.
I haven't got Jake here to pull me up on bloody maths teacher. I don't need you to do it, mate.
Remember,
That's why Jake's not here. No
Right.
maths. Sorry, Tim.
You got a friend in me.
if anyone wants to get in some appropriate questions for us to ask,
There you go. Ryan saved you, mate. Dylan Brown, 40-metre drop goal.
Yeah, there's a couple of questions there.
No,
What do
I
we know
didn't.
about Moses? What's the update?
Mitchell Moses will come back in Magic Round. Is that right, Adam?
No, I'm actually hearing he'll be. Well, it's going to be hard to keep him back for the Tigers. He's on track for that 7. Sorry, I've got a phone call from someone who I can't say who it is, but we've got round 7.
Ryan Madison.
There's a
Round 7's Magic Round, isn't it?
No, round 7's the Tigers Easter Monday.
Tigers.
Did anyone watch 100% footy Monday? Did you hear what Gus said about Lomax?
What did he say?
No, I missed it. I've got it on record. I'll have to go and watch it after this.
He said Lomax will score 14 individual points this weekend.
Actually, I think Lomax said that Gutho said he's ready to rip heads off.
I noticed he was on 100% footy and messaged the group chat and said, Lomax on 100% footy. and I got distracted and didn't watch it. I was only half listening, so I heard Lomax speak, and I thought what he said was okay, but I didn't actually hear the bit where Gus spoke about Lomax, so I'll have to go back and watch that because I usually don't mind that show.
I have heard this rumor. We've got plenty of room in the cap, obviously. That's no secret. The Dogs apparently want Sam Tuivasa, so yeah, let's see what happens there. I think the club are doing all they can to keep him, and he's obviously someone they hide in high regard. So, yeah, I think one more question, then we get out of here. Who will be targeting next year? Can't be overpaying for Galvin. Should we be targeting rep juniors? Well, I obviously put a post up about this quite a few weeks ago, and then I put up a post about signing Dalish Evans, which everyone fucking went to meltdown over. The juniors, it's a risk. Like, we know it's a risk, and I guess our fans aren't very patient. Our fans want results now, and they don't want to put the time into, obviously, us developing those juniors. They could be ready next year. They could be ready the year after. It could be the year after that. I think we need a quick fix. We might have that with Dylan Brown. Definitely him. Dylan Walker. Dylan Walker, obviously, being there, he can play that 6 role if he needs to next year while someone gets ready, but it's going to be a wait and see. I'm still all for Galvin. I know, obviously, there's a lot of talk about the price for Galvin, but if we are going to target someone, I think it will be him. But, yeah, I think we've got some good kids coming through as well, so it's going to be patient as Parramatta fans. Pretty much it. That's all we've got time for.
International comment there again.
Do we?
Yes. Makani Senat Oslan. Hello. Tajan Sunatana.
What's that mean, Jason?
Okay, one sec.
I can chuck it in Google. Well, Jason's probably doing it.
No, I
The
can't
way
say
you
it.
said, the way you said it, it sounded like Hakuna Matata.
Hang on 1 second.
All right. That's it. That's all we've got time for.
Play Matto at 6.
May heaven rest in heaven. What?
Yeah, okay. Got it.
Mate, what?
Got it. Play Matto at 6. With a
That
dinner
was the
suit.
translation.
With a dinner suit. With a dinner suit.
yeah, with a dinner suit, yeah.
Remember,
All right.
patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue. Remember, everyone.
Can I end this
Woosah.
show? I want to go to bed. I've got to get up at 4 o'clock.
This show
Oh.
is on longer than Trek. End it
I've
right
got to
now.
go watch the end of 1923. Quick.
Go
All right.
Parra.
Game Day show on Saturday this week, obviously, due to the Saturday game. It's the first time it's going to be on Saturday at about 9:30 or 10 a.m. Troy will be hosting, potentially. Doesn't know that yet, but he probably will. And I've got some people lined up for that, obviously, some Dragons fans to jump on that. Besides that, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Go Parra.